I've got another Borderlands 1 build for you guys of the Vault Hunter Lilith. I'll be going over her melee build, which a lot of people don't know about. So we're going over all the skills and guns that I recommend using. If you give us a like and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. So in the skill section, we have skills in all three trees, and I'll start in the right tree. So first off, you want to get your phase walk, and then primarily focus on corrosive, which I don't have the corrosive artifact, but you want to find one of those, as this will help with the build. Then you want to go into Slayer, which increases critical hit damage by 25%, so any hits to the head will increase the damage of that with your melee attacks. Then you've got Silent Resolve, increases your resistance to damage for a few seconds after phase walking, which the damage reduction is 70%. Some of these skills can also get buffed with different class mods as well, which I'll show you. Then we have Hit and Run, gain increased melee damage and phase walk duration. So your melee damage is just flat out 35% extra damage, and your phase walk duration is an extra 4 seconds. Then we've got Blackout, killing an enemy reduces the cooldown of phase walk. The cooldown reduction per kill is 6 seconds, so you definitely want to get this. Every time you kill an enemy, you should be able to get your phase walk up a lot faster with this skill. Then we've got Phase Strike, using a melee attack while phase walking deals additional damage. The additional damage is 800% more melee damage, and that is the Assassin tree. As you can see here, there's Enforcer and High Velocity, which I'd usually spec into, but as this is a melee build, I will not spec into these. You can go look at my other build on my channel as well. Then we've got Spark, which you can either choose Spark or Quicksilver, which increases your fire rate with all weapons, or you can go with Spark, which I have, which increases your chances of causing elemental effects with elemental weapons. And the elemental effect chance is 20%. Then I have Resilience, increases your resistance to fire, shock, corrosive, and explosive damage by 30%. Venom, which you definitely want to grab as well, adds corrosive damage to your melee attacks. Also, your melee attacks have a chance to corrode enemies, causing additional damage over time. The melee damage increase is 25%, and it also adds corrosive damage to it as well. And also the thing about corrosive damage in this game, I'm pretty sure it acts as sort of like slag, so you can go corrode an enemy and then you actually end up dealing more damage to them, the same as slag in Borderlands 2. I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty certain that's how it works in this game. Then we've got Intuition. You just want this for the movement speed and XP as you're leveling up. So killing an enemy increases your movement speed and the experience for you and your team earned for a few seconds. So the movement speed is increased 50%, so you can get to your next enemy faster after you've killed them with your melee attack, and then you gain extra XP as you're leveling up. But at level 69, the movement speed is what you go for with this. Then we have 3 points into Phoenix. You can max this out if you want to move around a couple of points here and there. Killing an enemy causes you to deal fire damage to nearby enemies, so it's like an AoE damage. It makes your shots not always cost ammo for a few seconds, and the fire damage increases with your level. So you have a 25% chance to save ammo with this maxed out. I have it at 15, and the fire damage is at +3, which you can get to +5. But that is entirely up to you. Then we have Diva. This increases your shield capacity by 25%, so you definitely want this as you're going to be in people's faces and they're going to be shooting at you. Striking, your melee attacks can daze enemies, reducing their movement speed and accuracy. So basically you can punch a whole group of enemies in the face and they will be dazed for like a few seconds or 5 seconds or something. Doesn't actually say in the description of the skill. But you definitely want to do that, so then they don't hit you as much and their movement speed is down, so they don't run away from you either. Then we've got Girl Power. Killing an enemy causes your shield to quickly regenerate for a few seconds. The regeneration is 7% of your shield per second. So again, after killing an enemy, you can regenerate your shield, which means that you won't die as much. Then we've got Hard to Get. Decreases the cooldown of Phase Walk. Phase Walk cooldown is reduced by 16 seconds. So this, with the skill Blackout, you should be getting your phase walk up quite a lot. And that's all the skills there. And then just remember again, with the Venom skill, it would ideally be better to have a corrosive artifact, as this will blend in with the Venom skill quite nicely. Then we have the Sucker Punch. You can get this from Cormorants or the golden chests right here, or loot machines like those. They have the weapons in them that you can buy the item of the day, and also other loot sources as well. This is the maximum amount of melee damage you can do in the game. It's better than every single other item in the terms of raw melee damage. And then we've got a Liquid Penetrator, a modded shotgun. I just roll around with this if I want to stuff about and just kill bosses really easily, but most of the time I just play with the normal guns. Then I've got a purple shield. You can either have the Ironclad or Rose, or something like on the lines of this that has a high capacity that you can get from Cormorants or vending machines, etc. Then we have a Transfusion Grenade, which I just like to throw around as this steals health for you, so you can not die and get yourself down. Then we've got the Plague Bearer. So this increases the corrosive damage of Venom as well as your artifact, and makes you corrosive resist by 84%, puts points into Venom, Inner Glow, and Mind Games. Which I will look for the... So Mind Games doesn't matter, and Inner Glow doesn't matter either. But there are other class mods that you can put your points in, that you can use as well, that increase different skills. Like for instance, where is it? There's this one here, which increases shock damage, which doesn't really matter with this build, but then this increases Radiant Slayer and Silent Revolve. So Slayer is something you spec into, Silent Revolve is something you spec into, and Radiance, I will look for that right now. I have not spec'd into that. So that will buff both of these skills, and your damage reduction once you jump out of Phase Walk will be at, you'll basically nearly be invincible for those few seconds with an increased critical hit chance as well. So there's also that you can also do as well. Then I've got a Tsunami, a Bessie, a Stalker, a Defiler, Chimera, Angry Crux, Volcano, Hornet, Thanatos, Cobra, Unforgiven, Savior for the ammo regen, Hailfire, Liquid Orion, Skullmasher, Anaconda, Blast Hammer, Protector, Friendly Fire, Hive Mind, Reaper, which is also another pistol that you can use for the melee damage, but the Sucker Punch is better because it gives you extra 200%. Equalizer, Anaconda, another Unforgiven, which has a ×7. It's a masher instead of the normal direct damage of 1600. A Cyclops, Guardian for the ammo regen on the AR. A Ogre, a Pestilence Crux, which is quite handy on this build as well, as you'll be corrosive focused. A Anarchy ×4. A Stinger, that's another option to the Anarchy if you don't have the ×4 one of this. Sledge's Shotgun, and then we have the Mercenary class mod for SMG damage, which you can get the other one, which increases ammo regen or something as well. Team Elemental effect, the Tormentor, Catalyst, Defender, the Plague Bearer, which I told you about before, which I recommend using, or the Tempest just for the skill buffs, a Firefly, another Mercenary like I said before with the SMG ammo regeneration, but doesn't give you the third skill. I think you can get the third skill, but they're quite rare. A modded shield just so I can run around the game and not die if I really want to, but I usually just use the normal shield and normal guns. And a wee super booster. This just gives you health regen, but you can ideally use the Ironclad or Rose if you get them, but they're quite rare. So that's all the guns that I recommend and gear, as well as all the skills. If you give us a like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys on the next one.